Your man Jay Graves, and welcome to the Jay Graves Report College Football Weekly Preview, Week 6. Now, y'all know how we get it in. We got to get over the top 5 ball games of the weekend. Can you believe that it's the 6th week of the season? Darn near halfway over. But the good thing about this week is the BCS rankings will come out. Now, so all the pretenders got to move out the way. We'll see who's the real deal because everybody's in the meat of the schedule this weekend. Now, let's get it in with the top 5 ball games. Number 4, LSU has to travel to Florida, to the swamp, bruh. Now, if you have been paying attention, let me tell you, LSU is riding the donut in the curve right now. The last 2 weeks, they've been struggling. They struggled against Doug, Gene, Chiswick, and Auburn. Then they came out and struggled against Towson. Let me say that again, bruh. They struggled against Towson. So they are riding right now on the side of the road with the hazards on, with the donut. And that joint's wobbling. Because this weekend, when they go to Florida, they'll have to drive more than 55 miles an hour to stay in the ball game. And I'm telling you, the rule says if you ride more than 55 miles an hour with the donut, the joint's going to pop. So LSU is going to be out of the rankings of the unbeatens this weekend. Now, let's go to the second ball game of the day. Let's go down to the Big 12. Number 17, Oklahoma, goes to Texas Tech. Now, the reason I say this is a big ball game because OU has to bounce back. They played Doug just a few weeks ago against Kansas State, turning the ball over like crazy. They methodically moved the ball all the way down the field all night long and kept turning the ball over. So, can they get back on the horse? Can they get back on Boomer Sooner and do what they're supposed to do? Now, Texas Tech is 4-0. They're number 7 in the country in passing the football. They're number 8 in total offense. But it means absolutely nothing, bruh. Texas Tech hadn't played anybody. They played Northwestern State, Texas State, New Mexico, and Iowa State. So now, means absolutely nothing. OU ought to come out of that ball game with a win. Now, let's stay in the Big 12. Huge ball game down in Austin. West Virginia comes to town. Geno Smith comes to town to play the Texas Longhorns. Now, the last 2 years, Texas has been struggling. This year, defense is a lot better. David Ash is throwing the football a lot better. And they've got great running offense. Now, can West Virginia put the numbers up that they've been putting up the last few weeks? Now, I saw Geno Smith put up 656 and 8 last weekend, but I wasn't impressed because there wasn't a defense in the zip code in that ball game. They scored 70 points and gave up 63. So what I'm going to do is reserve judgment to see if Geno Smith is the real deal. Now, do I think he's going to win the Heisman? Do I think he's the best quarterback in college football? I do believe he is. West Virginia was my team I had picked to go to the national championship to play against Florida State. So let's see if they can continue to move forward, continue to put up points, but can they stop anybody? Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and say West Virginia gets it together and comes out of Austin with a win, primarily because Geno Smith can put points on the board. Now, let's go to the next big ball game. Georgia goes to South Carolina. Now, Georgia is 11th in total yards. They right now they're putting up crazy points, putting up 48 points a game, and but they're horrible at rush defense. Horrible. They're 9th in the SEC in rush defense, and Marcus Lattimore is the real deal at South Carolina. Can Georgia go on the road and beat South Carolina? In my opinion, Georgia's got better talent than South Carolina. And I don't think this weekend is a weekend that Georgia is going to be Mark Richt's Georgia. I always say Georgia is Mark Richt's Georgia. They're always going to lose a ball game they shouldn't lose, but this weekend is not that game because they got Gershel running the football. That's Gurley and Marshall. Both these boys are freshmen. They running the football like Herschel Walker all wrapped up in one. So this weekend, Georgia will not be My man's Georgia. Now, let's go to the next ball game. Last ball game. Miami goes up to Soldier Field and plays Notre Dame. Is Notre Dame the real deal? They rank 9th. They're looking good on defense. The front seven is solid. They're looking good. Now, Miami putting up big points right now, but Miami's young. I think Miami's got better talent. Miami's got more speed, athleticism. However, I think Miami being young, they got like 60 freshmen and sophomores on the roster. I think they're gonna be done when they show up in Soldier Field, and I think Notre Dame will beat them. It sickens me to pick Notre Dame to win a ball game, but I'm going to keep it real or all the way 100, whichever comes first, like I always say. Hey, keep up with your man, Jay Graves at the JayGravesReport.com, or hit me up on Twitter at JayGravesReport and holla at your boy.